Welcome Nightfarers to the Ningen Plays channel, where we will be breaking down all 8 of the playable characters in Elden Ring Nightreign in these individual guide videos to help you decide which of them is right for you to jump in and face the challenges of the night. Today we are going to be talking about Wylder, the all-rounder who is great for beginners. Wylder is practically the face of Nightreign. He's on the cover art, his statue and helmet are the big special edition bonus goodies, but what makes him the character you would want to play as you hunt down the Night Lords, aside from him being the one who gets the awesome Artorias armor, of course. Wylder is an all-rounder hero that can fulfill different roles but doesn't particularly specialise as much as any of the other Nightfarers in those roles. If you favoured a specific type of build in your Soulsborne games, like a full dex katana build, big weapon strength build, or the various forms of magic, he might not be a character who excels in any of those areas, but he can bring a mixture of variety to the table with his proficiency in a wide range of weapons and his skills. Speaking of skills, let us talk about his abilities. His passive ability is called Sixth Sense. The description is instinctively avoid a single fatal attack. So basically, when you would receive an attack that will do lethal damage to you, instead you quickly jump away and the attack does not kill you. This can only be used once until you reach another site of grace, and then it will refresh. Considering that will be something that you will want to do regularly as you scour the map, right, so you can get your level ups, this is something that you can potentially have ready to go in your back pocket in any major excursions, whether it's going to be roaming mini bosses, or of course when you're ready to fight the final boss at the end of the night, or the Night Lord itself at the end of the hunt. So this is obviously very useful as an ability, especially for newer players as you are trying to learn the ins and outs of the game, because it's essentially giving you a chance to avoid the first time that you would be killed, which gives you more opportunities to learn from the enemies, learn their attack patterns, and come out of the fight being victorious. The other opportunity that this presents, which could be huge for co-op experiences against some of the bigger bosses, is in the unfortunate situation, which I'm sure will occur for all of us at least once at some point during the run and will be very annoying throughout the life of this game, there is a possibility. Imagine a boss performs a big AoE attack that hits all of your party, and due to, unfortunate timing, unfortunate circumstances, you're all on lower health, and that AoE kills all 3 people in the party. That means that the run is over because you're all down, no one can revive the other players, so that's game over, the hunt ends. However, if somebody is playing as Wylder in that situation, that AoE attack will not kill him, and then will give him the opportunity to quickly heal, or quickly as possible get in close, get some hits in on the allies to get them back up, and can potentially save the entire run. So this passive, very helpful, both for new players and in sticky situations, regardless of how many hours in you are. So his next ability, which is his main skill, the one that you will be using the most often, is the Claw Shot. Launch grappling claw to rope foes in or move swiftly by retracting. So this is the ability that's probably going to be one of the most interesting ones and one of the most important parts of this character, because it allows you to move yourself around, it allows you to pull enemies to you, smaller enemies, allows you to pull yourself towards enemies, which can in and of itself create combos, create openings for getting in and laying into attacks into the enemy. There's a lot of different options and different things that you will be able to use this for, as again you can use this defensively as well to maneuver yourself away from enemies. It is essentially both a weapon and a tool for mobility. The cooldown of it is fairly quick. You also have the ability to sort of free aim it, which gives you that movement and like zipping around sort of effect. It works somewhat similarly to like the wire bug in Monster Hunter, if you know what that is. Allows you to pull yourself to larger enemies or pull smaller enemies to you. Also, you can use it on the terrain to propel yourself all over the place. With the verticality that Elden Ring has, with the climbing, no fall damage as you traverse the various areas, sometimes will be escaping from the incoming night. This is going to be very helpful. You can also combo this into his ultimate ability, which we will of course talk about. But yes, he will have abilities that will allow you to launch into an attack as you're coming straight off of the grapple, straight into an enemy, which will be very useful for setting up initial attacks on enemies, potentially knocking them off guard and allowing your allies to join in. And of course, as we've already mentioned, the defensive capability of this should not be underestimated either. As you start to learn the various attack patterns of enemies, you will be able to spot these openings where you'll be able to pull yourself out of the way of danger, but potentially even to a position where you can outright then be flanking the enemy. So very, very useful ability, certainly going to be very interesting. It's kind of one of those, like when you play a Spider-Man game and you truly master the maneuverability, there are going to be some people out there, I imagine, pulling off some absolutely insane maneuvers with this grapple ability, setting up flashy combos, avoiding crazy attacks. It's something that I am very much looking forward to testing out. And then yeah, his ultimate ability is called the Onslaught Stake. Powerful single attack that launches an iron stake with a great explosion. So this is certainly an interesting one. It's not a ranged attack, even though it seems kind of like you charge up the wrist mounted bow stake thing that he has, fire off this big explosion, but it is a fairly short range attack. However, it is able to do a pretty significant amount of damage. So has a short range, you are able to hold down to charge it. If you fire it off not fully charged, it doesn't do as much damage, but it does not fully use your ultimate gauge. So there will be certain situations against weaker enemies if you're being overwhelmed, or even against smaller sub-bosses once they are weakened, where you can utilize this ability to finish them off, fire it off quicker without having to fully charge, without fully depleting your ultimate gauge, but still being able to finish them off. It's a fairly reliable skill, not difficult to pull off, not difficult to sort of aim. You will literally just be targeting the person in front of you, being able to hit them with this big attack. It can stagger bigger bosses, interrupt certain attacks, like be poise breaking, and of course that can potentially set up for knocking the enemy down and being able to riposte them. And even if it doesn't do so in one shot, it does a huge amount of poise damage. So very, very good if you have a team of characters ready to go with their ultimates, potentially setting this up for knocking the enemy down, giving other characters opportunities to get in and use their abilities. And as we already mentioned, you can combo this with the claw shot, so you can pull yourself in towards an enemy, especially if an enemy, a boss or a sub-boss, is charging up for a big attack. You can use this ability to pull yourself towards them, or the claw shot, pull yourself towards them, combo into the Onslaught Stake, and potentially knock them out of this big attack that they were charging up. And the attack itself does also have iframes, so once you get the hang of exactly when and where those are, you'll be able to use this ability right in the face of an enemy without actually taking damage, just as the explosion is then set off, and you can do this big damage and potentially knock the enemy down. So Wylder has some very interesting abilities. Like I say, the grappling hook thing, the claw shot, is going to be really interesting when people really start to get the hang of it and pull off some crazy stuff. But yeah, he is your sort of general knight type class. If you're familiar with any of the Dark Souls games, the way the knight stats are specified at the start, they're able to use most weapons in the game with decent proficiency. And as we said at the beginning, he is essentially like a jack of all trades, master of none kind of character when it comes to weapons and abilities. And of course that doesn't make him bad. I'm sure if you've tried out an all-round type build in a Soulsborne game, you know that those absolutely can work. But it is his unique character abilities that will still make him a very interesting and very useful option for your team of Nightfarers. So let me know what you guys think down below. Who will you be playing as when it comes to the release of Nightreign? Are you looking forward to Wylder and his various different abilities, and of course that sweet Artorias armor? Let me know who you want to be playing as when the game comes out. Check out the other guides that will be going up for all the other characters. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. We'll be doing tons of Nightreign content once the game drops. So I will see you guys out there in the night. Peace out.